It's time for Movies Preview at 5 Star, a resume of the upcoming 3 movies to be shown here at the 5 Star Cinema on the premises of the 5 Star Premier Residences of Dallas, Texas. I'm Dr. Mel Ginsberg, spokesperson for the movie committee at 5 Star, and today I'll be looking at the resumes for the movies to be shown on Saturday, April the 13th, Sunday, April the 14th, and Wednesday, April the 7th. So now let's get to those resumes. On Saturdays these days, we're showing old, new, or whatever. And this coming Saturday, April the 13th, our movie is Calendar Girls. It came out in 2003. It lasts 1 hour and 48 minutes. It's directed by Nigel Call. And it's described as fun, compelling, and endearing. And it's based on a true story. It stars Helen Mirren, Julie Walters, John Alderton, Ciarán Hinds, and Celia Imrie. As you can probably tell from the cast, this is an English movie. And now the resume for Calendar Girls. After the death of her best friend's husband from cancer, spirited Yorkshire housewife Chris Harper, Helen Mirren, hatches a scheme to raise money for a memorial to him. Utilizing a tradition from the Husband's Woman's Institute Association, Chris encourages Annie, Julie Walters, the widow, and their friends to create a calendar with the detail of using middle-aged women as their real-life models. The idea stuns the husbands and a very young photographer. Will the Calendar Girls make money? Will they become the new geriatric pinups? Will Marilyn Monroe turn over in her grave? Well, you can find out on Saturday, April the 13th. Well, maybe not about Marilyn Monroe, but you can find out about the other questions on Saturday, April the 13th, with an matinee performance at 2 o'clock and an evening performance at 7:15. And by the way, this movie is based on a true story. So there really were some middle-aged calendar girls. So we'll find out what happened to them. And now let's get to our Sunday movie. Our Sunday movie is an encore performance. Several weeks ago, we showed Titanic here at 5 Star, but there were also many other activities going on, including a spring fling. And we feel that many moviegoers were discouraged from seeing this wonderful movie Titanic. So we have an encore performance going on Sunday, April the 14th. The movie is Titanic. It came out in 1997. It lasts 3 hours and 15 minutes and is directed by James Cameron. And now the resume for Titanic. James Cameron's Titanic is an epic action-packed performance set against the ill-fated maiden voyage of the RMS Titanic, the pride and joy of the White Star Line, and at the time, the largest moving object ever built. She was the most luxurious liner of her era, the Ship of Dreams, which ultimately carried over 1,500 people to their death in the ice-cold waters of the North Atlantic in the early hours of April 15th, 1912. Now we're showing the movie on April 14th, which is the 22nd anniversary of the ship hitting the iceberg. It went down the next day. Why are we showing it again? Well, let me tell you. Titanic is the winner of 14 Academy Award nominations. That ties a record. It holds that record with 2 other movies. Those 2 other movies, if you're curious about it, is All About Eve in 1950 and La La Land in 2016. All 3 of those movies, Titanic, All About Eve, and La La Land, earned 14 Academy Award nominations, which to date is the record. Now, Titanic also won 11 Academy Awards, and that also ties a record. It holds that record with Ben-Hur in 1959 and Lord of the Rings, Return of the King in 2003. All 3 of those movies have received 11 Academy Awards No movie has ever received more than that. The budget for Titanic was a Titanic budget, $200 million. Sounds like a lot of money, doesn't it? However, to date, the movie Titanic has grossed $2.25 billion with a B. That's $2.25 billion, the second highest grossing movie up to now of all time. The movie is being presented on Sunday, April the 14th, which is the 22nd anniversary of the Titanic hitting the iceberg. There will be an afternoon performance at 2 o'clock and an evening performance at 7:15. Remember, it's a long movie, 3 hours and 15 minutes. Because of all the awards that it has won, and because of all the money it has earned, arguably, Titanic could be called the greatest movie of all time. And don't you people here at 5 Star deserve to see the greatest movie of all time? Well, you've got a chance to see it on April the 14th with a matinee performance at 2 o'clock and an evening performance at 7:15. The movie lasts 3 hours and 15 minutes. There is no intermission. Again, there is no intermission for Titanic, arguably the greatest movie of all time. And now let's get to our classic movies. Our classic theme for the month of April is Humphrey Bogart drives a truck and goes to war. And the movie for Wednesday, April the 17th, is Action in the North Atlantic. It came out in 1943. It actually had 3 directors, but the main one was Lloyd Bacon. The movie lasts 2 hours and 7 minutes. It's described as intense, engaging, spirited. It stars Humphrey Bogart, Raymond Massey, Alan Hale Sr., Julie Bishop, Ruth Gordon, Sam Levine, and Dane Clark. Again, the name of the movie, Action in the North Atlantic, coming out in 1943. And now the resume for Action in the North Atlantic. Action in the North Atlantic is a 1943 American war film from that great purveyor of Warner Brothers films during World War II, Warner Brothers. It is primarily directed by Lloyd Bacon and stars Humphrey Bogart and Raymond Massey as officers in the United States Merchant Marine during World War II. Typical of other films of that era, Action in the North Atlantic was created as a morale booster from that tells the story of unsung heroes. As noted by film critic Buzzy Trotter, quote, "It's a good thing to have a picture that waves the flag for the Merchant Marine. These boys are going through hell and high water, as the movie Action in the North Atlantic shows." The movie was a commercial and critical success. It will be shown one performance only on Wednesday, April the 17th, the program starting at 7:15. Again, Action in the North Atlantic with Humphrey Bogart and Raymond Massey. And now we have a recap of our movies for the coming weekend. On Saturday, April the 13th, it's Calendar Girls. Will those nude middle-aged models make a hit? Well, we'll find out on April the 13th. On April the 14th, an encore performance of what perhaps is the greatest movie ever made, Titanic. And that will be on the evening of April the 14th, which happens to be the anniversary of the Titanic hitting the iceberg that did it in. And on Wednesday, April the 17th, our classic movie is Action in the North Atlantic, starring Humphrey Bogart and Raymond Massey. And for the past few minutes, you have been watching Movies Preview at 5 Star. Movies Preview at 5 Star is now shown 7 days a week at 10:30 a.m. on Channel 80. A new show is posted every Thursday and repeated for the next 6 days through the following Wednesday. Again, Movies Preview at 5 Star, every day, 10:30 a.m. on Channel 80. Information for a movie playing on a particular day will be shown by the elevators. or you can watch our new movie guide, which comes out every month, and also features a brief synopsis of each movie. Movies Preview at 5 Star is recorded live at the 5 Star Cinema and is co-produced by Ebony Gonzalez and Arnie Renteria, and is directed by Peter Selensky. For the movie committee at 5 Star, this is Dr. Mel Ginsberg. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you at the movies.